Summer 22 may be a stacked season from the get-go. Sure, there are no incoming major blockbusters or anything like that, but it's in this coming season that we'll get the much-awaited continuation to Devil is a Part-Timer and Classroom of the Elite. There's also sequels for Rent-a-Girlfriend, Overlord, Danmachi, Shadow's House, Made in Abyss, and others as well. But that's not what we're here for. In this video, we're here to give some shine to the new contenders, the new shows looking to make their mark in the anime world. This is a list of what I feel are the top 10 most anticipated new anime this summer 2022. If you're someone looking for something new to watch, you've come to the right place. But hey, all this talk's making me quite hungry. Good thing I'm in luck thanks to our sponsors for the day. Introducing Tokyo Treat and Sakurako exquisite snack boxes from Japan. Tokyo Treat and Sakurako are two subscription-based snack boxes that feature all sorts of Japanese treats. Sakurako is the one that brings to you the authentic and artisan side of Japan. And this month's theme is Tea Time in Yokohama, a theme that will surely take you through the sights and sounds of Japan's second largest city. They're partnering with the Kanagawa government and local snack makers to introduce traditional Yokohama delights in a special Yokohama-inspired design box. Yokohama gives you the best of both worlds with awesome treats like their signature chocolate crunch and my personal favorite, cream wafers. It's also June, so you know what time it is. Summer Festival. Tokyo Treat brings this anime staple to you with its box for the month, Summer Matsuri. Tokyo Treat prides itself on providing seasonal and exclusive Japanese snacks, and this month is no exception. It's a box full of the most flavorful delicacies that summer festivals have to offer, ranging from apple pies to a summer festival classic, yakisoba. Well, what are you waiting for? Check out the link in the description and use code VINI to get $5 off your first box. There's no reason for anyone who enjoys Japanese treats to miss this chance. First off, we start with Futo Pi. Futo Pi is a show that somewhat gives me an old school feel. Set in the city of Futo, the show stars the two heroes from Narumi Detective Agency, Shotaro Hidari and his partner Philip. The two have once defeated the evil organization Museum before, but there's no rest for the weary, as remnants of the Gaia memories, devices that allow people to transform into superpowered monsters, remain in the black market. With monster sightings continuing, the two resolve to get to the bottom of the subsequent supernatural phenomena. It's the whole mystery/urban action feel with the superheroes, the criminal syndicates, and partners in crime. With this being a sequel to the hit live-action series Kamen Rider W, perhaps that much is to be expected. From what I can see so far, if you're a fan of mysteries with a few callbacks to modern heroes, think something like Tiger and Bunny or Samurai Flamenco, and you'll be in for a ride. At number 9 is Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is quite self-explanatory in terms of title. It tells of Toru Kirishima, who conveniently uses the job of being the crime family's right-hand man as an excuse to let his inner demons out. Nigh unstoppable thanks to his violent nature, he's earned the intimidating nickname Demon of Sakuragi, except, maybe, for one thing. You see, there are quite several things that violent gangsters may find themselves in trouble with. One such thing is the guy's sudden assignment, taking on one of the toughest challenges known to man, babysitting. Is this the start of a heartwarming story or a disaster waiting to happen? I can't help but compare this to Way of the House Husband. That show may not have had the best reception in terms of adaptation, but it did show us the often hilarious scenario of a crime boss being pulled from his life of crime and violence into, well, more mundane things, I guess. Well, if you found the former quite lacking as an adaptation, and trust me, many did, perhaps Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting may be the redemptive work that you're looking for. Next up is My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. Hooray for these kinds of titles. My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex shows off the best of the modern light novel title memes. Clickbaity spells out the premise immediately and piques people's interests. Rom-coms can be a mixed bag overall, but I'm looking forward to this by the mere fact that I'm pretty sure people will be watching this, and it will probably be one of the most polarizing shows of the season. The premise is what it says in the title. Two lovers break up, their parents remarry, and voila, they're kind of siblings now. Thus begins a hilarious ride of mind games, awkward misunderstandings, and lots of craziness. It's certainly a rom-com with a rare premise, and I'm sure it'll be loads of fun with our two main leads. It's got the premise that's a bit of a snark bait, you know, with people claiming it's incest, but from what I've heard, the source material is actually very interesting. It's even wholesome at some points as well, so I can't wait to watch this one. Following that, we have Uncle from Another World. Don't you love it when it seems that some anime opens the floodgate to stuff with similar premise being adapted? I know there's no direct correlation that can be proven, but I'm positive that the success of Sword Art Online and Attack on Titan opened the gates to a lot more trapped in a video game and humanity fighting a desperate war against monster invaders anime being greenlit respectively. Why did I suddenly go on this tangent? I'll get onto that in just a while. But basically, Uncle from Another World is about Takafumi and his uncle who fell into a coma 17 years ago. Suddenly, said uncle returns. Now a fan of video games, Uncle turns out to have been isekai'd into another world and had his own adventures as a hero. It's up to Takafumi to catch his uncle up with a lot of the modern geek stuff like anime tropes, the internet, and the ill-fated console wars. As for my tangent a while ago, now doesn't this kind of remind you of your boy Kong Ming? I know I'm clutching at straws here, but I think it would be good to help set expectations on what we could see. I think the premise is very interesting, and while I don't see this becoming the mainstream hit of the season, it could be a fun watch with a cult fan base. When will Ayumu make his move? Enters to continue the legacy of a suspiciously similar pair of characters. If the art hasn't clued you in, this is the next work of the guy responsible for bringing us Takagi-san and the currently airing Inside Tsubaki Kunochi's Heart. And if you know anything about these two, you know what you're in for with Ayumu, diabetes, but in different levels. The author just has a knack for these sweet and awkward romances, and will Ayumu make his move is no different. This time, the story centers around Ayumu, the shogi club's newest recruit, and the club president Urushi. Excited to finally have someone to play with, Urushi aims to be this guy's best mentor, but she can't help but stumble on her embarrassment. Not helping matters is the stone-faced Ayumu who dares make the boldest compliments, all while promising to confess his love only after he's beaten her in shogi. Will this ever happen though? That's the question. Through school and shogi, the two have some of the most heartwarming and cute misadventures. It's not quite Takagi-san, but it sure seems like a spiritual successor. So if you're up for a heap of sweet, cute romance, then you know what to watch. And if you've been watching this video so far, I'd like to have just a little bit of your time and ask you to hit that like and subscribe button. A lot of my viewers still aren't subscribed, so if you do fall into that category, please do subscribe, okay? We're ever inching closer right now to the 1 million subs milestone, so come on, let's hit that goal together now, shall we? Peanut! Off the break, we continue with the third rom-com in the list, Engage Kiss. Well, what do we have here? Original anime from A1 Pictures. I know Engage Kiss has been billed as a rom-com based on the tags we know, but with the people involved, I can't help but feel we'll be getting a dash of sci-fi action in there somewhere. Maybe. So, what's Engage Kiss all about then? Well, it takes place in the modern floating metropolis Veyron City, where Shu leads his meager life. Thankfully, he's got these two girls to keep things lively. First up is the doting Kisara, and the other is Ayano, his former colleague who seems quite rough around the edges when it comes to dealing with him. Together, these three form a dynamic that ensures a lot of slapstick comedy that's bound to entertain us for weeks to come. What hooked me to this show personally is the staff. I've made it clear before that I'm a fan of both Seikano and Data Live, and seeing the people who had a part in those titles work together gives me a sense of anticipation. There's not much detail revealed yet, but I'll be eagerly awaiting this show. How about a more traditional isekai now then? My Isekai Life is in 4th place. When one gets transported to another world, one rolls in the roulette of luck. You can either get the best powers that will make you an overpowered god, or you could get saddled with an unorthodox set of powers. In the end, it's really how you make the most out of said powers, right? We've seen the rise of heroes like Naofumi and Hajime precisely because they rose up above their handicaps in the quest to become the world's strongest. That's similar to what Yuji Sano has to go through. Saddled with the unfortunate profession of a mere monster tamer, he finds himself behind in the race to become the world's greatest adventurer. It would be a cruel joke if he was just deterred by that, and thanks to his nifty powers, he manages to get the help of some slimes and acquire a second-class Sage. Armed with 2 sets of skills that could prove to be a winning combination, it's Sano's turn to take over the world. Power fantasy of the season, here we go. It has a clear niche, and with how popular Isekai still is these days, it will surely get an audience, which is why I placed it high on this list. Somehow though, the plot reminds me a bit of By the Grace of the Gods, and if you're a sucker for these kinds of overcoming the odds Isekai, then you're gonna be in for a treat. For gamers, here's a treat for you. Cyberpunk's coming in anime form with Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Netflix is at it again with their contribution to the popular Cyberpunk universe. We knew it was only a matter of time before the hit video game Cyberpunk 2077 would get some sort of anime representation, and that time is now. Instead of adapting the game into anime format, however, Cyberpunk Edgerunners instead tells of a standalone story set in the game's universe. We don't know much about it yet, but from the trailer, it seems to be a story of grit and guts survival featuring our protagonist, who takes us on an adventure from the city of the future all the way to outer space. We don't know much besides what the trailer showed, but it's already looking visually stunning as expected from Trigger. Let's see what other surprises the guys have up their sleeves in their own element. Sci-fi backdrop, a plot that can go absolutely off the rails in a good way, and a space setting? Looks like Trigger found the perfect IP for the team. If you've played Cyberpunk 2077 or are one of the people who are really into this kind of sci-fi aesthetic, then you might want to give this a shot. Mark your calendars, September 2022 is the release. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer comes in second place. Oh no, the world is threatened and is nearing destruction by the hands of a giant mallet? That can't be right, can it? But that's just the world Yuhi Amamiya finds himself in. Thankfully, he's been granted the powers to change the fate of Earth by harnessing the power of the Beast Knight. He must come together with the other Beast Knights and the princess to defeat the mage responsible for the giant mallet. However, there's more to the princess than meets the eye. After all, she has some devious intentions of her own. She wants to save the world so that she can destroy it herself. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer was quite the hit back in the 2000s, and it's surprising it took this long to get an adaptation. Better late than never, though, they say, and I'm happy that you'll be getting a chance to see this fun battle manga in anime form. It starts off quirky before coming into its own eventually, showing you that you shouldn't judge a story by its cover. It's not too long, so you can get a head start by reading the manga now. And finally, we have Call of the Night. In a lot of ways, Yamori is just like us. He strives hard to maintain a cool facade, being good at studies and being friends with a lot of people. But doesn't that kind of living get tiring after a while? Well, he certainly thinks so, and he just says screw it one day, letting go of everything and developing insomnia as a result. However, he never found true freedom. That much can be said according to the mysterious Nazuna, who invites him into her apartment. It's then that she reveals her true identity as the vampire girl takes a big bite in his neck. Despite the premise giving some Monogatari vibes, Call of the Night is mostly a surprisingly wholesome slice of life. In that regard, it's more Bunny Girl Senpai if I were to give a quick comparison. It's much more of a feel-good story of the two and their growing bond, helped largely by their shared interest in exploring the night. Being a comfy series with a dash of mystery and action here and there makes me see a lot of potential in this anime to become a seasonal blockbuster. Coming from the guy who brought us Dagashi Kashi, I've got a lot of hopes for this anime. And that's it. Those are what I think are the most anticipated new anime this summer. Looking like a pretty decent season, don't you think? So how does your list compare to mine? If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and check out the channel's various social media. Discord, Patreon and Instagram all have links in the description box. You can also check my second channel, ViniiTube Kai, for more videos tailored to specific series. Oh, and video essays are on there too. Once again, thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!